Hi, today I'm going to be talking about EMTs or emergency medical technicians. EMTs are in high demand right now. This career choice is incredibly demanding and strenuous, but it also has an emotional aspect. EMTs often deal with experience life-threatening illness and sometimes death, but they have the ability to turn their personal needs off and focus on a patient, which is really noble and amazing. There's no question, there's no pausing, there's just action, life-saving instinct. Emergency medical technicians are in high demand, and it's also important for us to understand EMTs and who that person is that's saving us in case we are in an emergency situation. I've gained knowledge by having firsthand experience, as well as the EMTs that I know and have interviewed and spoke with. If you're looking for a career that's fast-paced with an opportunity to do life-saving work and honor God and make a difference, EMT is an opportunity to look at for sure. During the minutes to follow, I will discuss this career, describe all aspects of the job, and hopefully shed some light on a career that's sometimes overlooked in the medical field. On to my first point. EMTs are trained to do life-saving work with minimal equipment. So these EMTs work with what's in their bag and what's in the ambulance, and in awkward situations like in the bathtub or in a field. And it's not your typical doctor nurse at the hospital or doctor nurse at the doctor's office. It is a awkward, have to be able to stabilize you, get you to the hospital, and all of that wrapped into one, which can be highly stressful. There are 5 levels of EMT. The first responder, EMT basic. There's 2 levels of intermediate EMT, and then paramedics. Each level just has a little bit more specific training, a little bit more work in certain areas, but all are capable of emergency medical care. Employment of emergency medical technicians and paramedics is projected to grow 15% from 2016 to 2026, faster than the average for all occupations. So that's huge. We're expected to see a huge jump in EMTs, which will be healthier for communities and all emergency medical services. So on to my second point, why are EMTs important? Well, EMTs in rural communities are the most important, or less populated communities, because they struggle to keep emergency medical technicians and emergency medical providers because they rely heavily on volunteers. And it's hard for the volunteers to work an actual paying job and then work hours of EMTs, so it's hard to keep them. But it is super important for these less populated and these rural communities to have EMTs because of the dangers of living so far away from the hospital. These communities, these people that live in these communities, if they live 25 minutes away from the hospital and someone tries to transport them who is not aware or have any medical knowledge whatsoever, it could increase injury, it could lead to death, it could lead to far worse situations. So EMTs are so important to have to get to these situations, to be able to stabilize these patients and get them to the hospital safely without more injury. And with this huge jump, we're hoping to see more and more people fill in. For example, Georgia, it had rural communities. They have over 830 annual jobs opening. So it's projected between 2017 and 2019, which is a 5.2% change. So there's a lot of jobs opening up, and they're hoping that there's people to fill these jobs in these rural communities, and trying to increase less volunteer opportunities and more paying jobs. An increase of knowledge may spark something for anyone who wants to do life-saving work, because there is opportunities to volunteer and more opportunities, hopefully in the future, to have a paying job as an EMT. Now for my third and final point. EMTs doing life-saving work that represents a kind heart that bleeds the values of God. And a perfect story for that is in Leviticus when Jesus heals the lepers. Jesus merely instructs them to see a priest, and because they have faith, they were healed. Not only do EMTs have to heal in their own way, but they also have to instill faith in whoever they're taking care of, that they let who they're taking care of know that they've got this, they're going to get them to the hospital, and that kind of faith is something very special that we can only get from having values that God has bestowed. There's also the scripture, let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interests of others. EMTs are selfless in their job. They focus on the person that they're helping at all times, and they rely on faith. The belief in God guides them and leads them through saving lives, and it's very important to EMTs to have faith themselves as well as instill it in their patients. So, in conclusion, emergency medical technicians do life-saving work in all types of environments with little to no equipment. EMTs are compassionate and play a vital role in all communities. Some communities are in desperate need of EMTs to improve life-saving efforts. God's values come through in all aspects of the job: kindness, patience, gentleness, and faith. If you're passionate about patient care and emergency service, if you're looking for a rush as well as something that honors God, emergency medical technicians are widely needed and important to the community. So if it sounds good to you, it could be the career for you. And they are definitely an honorable and strong career choice, and it's definitely worth it in the end.